I bet you love to relax by browsing on your social media or playing some video games. And while there is nothing wrong with that, you have to admit that sometimes it can get a little bit out of control and you end up doing it more than you should. Or perhaps you don't care about your smartphone, but you love eating snacks, gambling, or online shopping. Whatever it is, I know it is really enjoyable and allow you to rest. The problem starts when it is no longer just a break to relax, but instead it starts to consume a lot of your time and impacting your life in a bad way. Fortunately, there is a solution. Dr. Anna Lembke teaches in her book Dopamine Nation why we tend to lose control on these highly pleasurable behaviors and how we can restore our balance. Let's get started. Imagine you are eating at McDonald's for the first time in your life. If you don't like McDonald's, imagine something else. It can be chocolate, video games, or watching YouTube shorts. Something you really enjoy lately. So, the first time you ate it, you loved it. It felt like Christmas. On the next day, you ate it again, and it was amazing. Well, not so amazing as the first time, but pretty amazing. You then keep eating it every single day. By the 7th day, it starts to feel more of the same. Yeah, it is good, but it's not like the first time. Why does this happen? If we are eating exactly the same thing, how come we can have such different experiences? Scientists call it tolerance, and the exact same phenomenon happens with alcohol. If you never drink and one day you drink 2 or 3 beers, you will probably start feeling funny pretty quickly. But if you are used to drink regularly, after 4 or 5 beers, you will probably still feel normal. Our body gets used to the alcohol, and because of that, we don't feel the same effect as before. The same thing happens with pleasure. When we are constantly seeking pleasure from the same thing, we develop a tolerance to it that gets bigger and bigger with time. But why does this happen? And is there a way to feel more pleasure again? According to Dr. Anna, it is. There is an invisible balance in our brains responsible for balancing pleasure and pain. The first time we do a behavior or consume something that gives us pleasure, the balance tips to the pleasure side. But our body is biologically programmed to always seek equilibrium in order to function properly. This is called homeostasis. In order to achieve balance, an invisible force applies equal pressure to the pain side of the balance until it is leveled. The author suggests imagining a group of gremlins hopping into the balance to put pressure on it. The second time we do a similar behavior or consume something, there is again a pressure on the pleasure side. However, this time the gremlins are there making weight, and that means we won't get so much pleasure like the first time. Yet again, homeostasis comes into action, and more walkers hop to the pain side of the balance until equilibrium is achieved. The more we lapse in pleasurable behaviors, the more gremlins come into the balance, causing a tremendous weight, leading to less and less pleasure each time. If we stay long enough without enrolling on the behavior, there is less need for the gremlins' weight and they start to leave. But if we don't give enough time, they will basically camp there. And that's what happens when we prolong this cycle without a break for months, sometimes years. The normal state is no longer balanced, but constantly tipped to the pain side. This can make us feel anxious, irritated, or simply demotivated. And to feel normal again, we engage on our comfort behaviors. It feels like those behaviors are what we need, but they are probably the reason we feel that way in the first place. The solution, as you probably already thought, is to give enough time for the gremlin to leave. Dr. Anna suggests 30 days of abstinence from our abusive behavior. From her experience, 30 days is usually enough time for our body to clean itself and show the gremlins the way out. For the first 2 weeks, it will be pretty hard. If you start feeling more anxious or nervous, you will know your body is withdrawing, and that's a good thing. You just have to stay strong and avoid your comfort behavior. The last 2 weeks will be much easier, but you must keep going and complete the detox. For most of us, 30 days will be enough to reset our pleasure-pain balance and get our control back. But if you suffer from deep addiction to alcohol, drugs, or other highly addictive behaviors, you should seek professional help so that you can have a safe detox. Regardless of your situation, I firmly believe that everyone is able to change. All it takes is for you and you alone to deeply want it. By now, you already know how to bring balance back to your life. However, there are a couple of important things you should know before going for the 30 days detox. Have you ever heard about the Pavlov effect? Ivan Pavlov was a physiologist who made an important discovery. Pavlov made an experiment with a dog where he rang a bell. As expected, nothing happened. Then he placed dog food in front of him, and the dog started to salivate in anticipation for the food. From then on, he would ring the bell and then place the dog food, creating an association between the bell and the food. What he discovered was that after a while, ringing the bell without bringing the food was enough to make the dog salivate. This meant it was possible to create new associations in the dog's brain, even if they have no relation at all. And the exact same effect happened to us. Throughout life, we develop lots of associations to what we hear, see, feel, and even smell. For example, if you are a McDonald's fan, you know how characteristic is the smell of the French fries, and we can smell them from miles away. The problem is you probably already created an association between the smell and the times you ate at McDonald's. So when you smell it, it triggers a desire to eat. I am telling you all of this to explain that when our abusive behavior balance is leveled, we feel fine. But all it takes to create chaos is a trigger of our behavior. In the McDonald's scenario, the trigger can be the smell of the French fries. So, once we smell it, our brain automatically associates with eating it, and a little rush of pleasure happens in our brains in anticipation, which means our body will immediately respond with more gremlins to the pain side. And now we feel that pain in the form of a big desire to do the behavior. Even if we don't want to do it, we are now forced, or else we will feel anxious or irritated for a while. It's important to say that there are different levels of intensity depending on how abusive your behavior is. Sometimes it is so subtle that we don't even notice. A common example is grabbing our phone when we feel bored. Observe what happens if you don't reach it. So, the first thing you should do is to learn which triggers are associated with the behavior you are trying to balance and avoid them for 30 days. It's not always possible, but for most cases, there is something we can do. Here is a list of common abusive behaviors and how you can try to prevent them. Many people are addicted to social media. That's the first thing they do when waking up or going to sleep. That's where they go when feeling bored. One way to prevent it is by uninstalling the apps on your smartphone or by not bringing your smartphone to bed. Video games can also become out of control very easily, mainly at night when our only duty is to go to bed. To successfully complete the detox, uninstall your games or hide them. After the detox, you may get back to it, hopefully in a more controlled way. Food. We will eat what we have around us, so creating a good home environment is the best strategy. This means you should not have at home what you are trying to avoid, but also have healthier alternatives to eat instead. You may also uninstall your takeaway apps if it helps. We live in a world surrounded by high pleasurable behaviors, so it is super important to find balance from now and then to live a more fulfilling life. Most of the times, these exact same behaviors keep distracting us from enjoying our work, learning new things, or even seek personal goals. By fixing them, we will become more productive, we will find more joy in the things we do, we will feel healthier, and all of that leads to a happier life. If you enjoyed the video, you will love the book. It is super easy to read, and the stories of Dr. Anna patients are awesome. If you enjoyed the video, consider watching another one. Thank you for watching, see you on the next video.